There are moments when life seems to slow down, not because the world has paused, but because something greater is pressing in. You're washing dishes, and suddenly the clinking of ceramic becomes a sacred rhythm. You step outside, and the rustle of leaves feels like whispered liturgy. What used to be mundane begins to shimmer with weight, as if God Himself has stepped into the room unnoticed. These are not coincidences. They are the first stirrings of divine presence. They are the echoes of something spiritual coming closer, drawing near, embedding itself in your daily life in ways that your intellect cannot rationalize, but your spirit recognizes. This sacred weight doesn't shout. It hovers, it broods, and as it does, you begin to feel a quiet reverence for everything around you. You're no longer just a commuter stuck in traffic. Suddenly, the stillness inside your car becomes a chapel. You're no longer just folding laundry. Each cloth feels like a veil draped over holy things. The very air feels different, heavier, yet lighter. It's as though something holy is breathing just beneath the surface of the material world. You sense you've stepped into a larger story. This isn't imagination. This is the Spirit brushing against your awareness, nudging you toward wakefulness, toward attentiveness. Ordinary things begin to feel eternal. A child's laughter isn't just joy, it's a trumpet from heaven. A stranger's smile on the street isn't just politeness, it's divine kindness peeking through a face. You begin to understand that the sacred isn't reserved for temples or mountaintops. It's embedded in bus stops, grocery aisles, rainstorms, and awkward conversations. You're being invited into a deeper level of perception. Your soul is adjusting to a new weight, a spiritual gravity. It is training you to notice. It is forming your body to be alert, to become a participant in holiness rather than a bystander to it. And then, curiously, your body begins to respond. You find yourself slowing down, breathing differently, pausing longer than usual before speaking. Your heart beats differently in certain places. Goosebumps come at strange times. You stand up and feel like kneeling. You laugh, and tears follow closely behind. These are signs that your body is no longer numb to the sacred. You are awakening. The veil is thinning. Your flesh is feeling what your spirit has already begun to discern. This sacred weight is not metaphor. It is real, tangible, incarnate. It is the early movement of something heavenly preparing to rest upon you. This sense of divine weight also makes you more sensitive to what is not of God. You notice noise more sharply. Gossip feels poisonous. Shallow entertainment irritates your spirit. You start to crave silence, scripture, beauty. You don't even know why. It's not because you're trying to be holy, it's because your soul is reacting to an invisible presence that's quietly taking over. You are being set apart without even knowing it. You are being prepped for visitation. Heaven is not waiting for your understanding, it's asking for your availability. This sacred weight isn't a warning, it's a gift. And yet, there is mystery in it. You cannot command it. You cannot recreate it. You cannot market it. It comes like wind, gentle and firm. It passes through a room, and no one notices but you do. And that noticing changes everything. You become aware that you are not just in the presence of something sacred, but that the sacred is now dwelling within you, claiming territory. You are not merely encountering holiness, you are becoming a resting place for it. And that weight, though light as grace, begins to reshape your thoughts, your senses, your body. You find it harder to live casually, not in a fearful way, but in a reverent way. You wake up and you wonder, what might God want to say today? You walk into a room and feel its atmosphere before hearing its noise. You become aware of what grieves the spirit and what invites him in. Your physical posture begins to reflect this shift. You stand straighter, or bow deeper. Your body is learning the choreography of reverence. You are being trained in embodied spirituality, not just emotional experiences. The sacred is no longer a category. It is a person, and he is approaching. So when you begin to sense that sacred weight in the ordinary, don't rush it, don't dismiss it, don't explain it away. Be still, be attentive. Say, "Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening." Because what's coming next will not only hit your spirit, it will touch your body. The Holy One doesn't merely inspire thoughts, he inhabits space, and that space, chosen one, is you. The weight is the beginning, it is the signal, it is the whisper before the windstorm. Let it rest on you. Let it reshape you. Something is coming, something holy. There comes a time when your inner appetites begin to change without your permission and without clear explanation. You used to crave noise, validation, the approval of others, the thrill of entertainment, or the comfort of routine pleasures. Now, you find yourself quietly withdrawing from those things. The desire is no longer there. What once satisfied you now feels strangely hollow. You scroll through content you used to enjoy and feel a dull ache instead of excitement. Music you used to dance to suddenly seems loud and lifeless. Laughter at certain jokes leaves a strange aftertaste. It's not because you've grown boring, it's because you're being recalibrated. Your inner compass is turning towards something higher. This shift is not forced, it emerges. You may even fight it at first, unsure of what's happening. You try to return to your old habits, your familiar distractions, your typical amusements, but they don't land the same way. They don't pull you like they used to. Something has unhooked your soul from those wells. They no longer hold water. You realize, painfully and beautifully, that your hunger is changing, and you can't undo it. You find yourself craving depth, longing for solitude, yearning to read scripture not just for answers, but for presence, wanting not more opinions, but more silence in which to hear God. You begin to want things you never knew were available. Peace over noise, meaning over popularity, sacrifice over applause. Fasting becomes more appealing than indulgence. Prayer becomes more satisfying than scrolling. Tears during worship feel more valuable than laughter in crowds. Your desires are no longer predictable. They are being formed by something deeper than your environment or upbringing. What once seemed radical now feels reasonable. What once felt optional now feels urgent. And this isn't moral superiority. This is the Spirit at work inside your appetites. Your longings are being baptized. These new desires come with a cost. You begin to feel the tension of living differently. Friends may not understand. Even you don't always understand. You can't always articulate what's happening, but you know you're being pulled into something more sacred, more weighty. You find yourself turning down invitations you once would have accepted. You avoid certain conversations that used to thrill you. Your time becomes more intentional. You may not have a plan, but you have a pull, and that pull is divine. It's the Spirit of God reshaping the very core of your being. And with these new desires comes an increasing restlessness, not a restlessness of anxiety, but a divine discontent. You are no longer satisfied with shallow living. You can't ignore the nudges to pray. You can't scroll for hours and not feel the drain. You sense that something inside you is being readied for something greater, a greater joy, a greater fire, a greater level of union with God. You long to live in alignment with heaven, even if you don't know what that looks like yet. Your soul has tasted something better, and now the hunger won't leave you alone. These shifts affect your body too. You may feel less physically drawn to certain places or people. You may sense a new alertness in your chest, a kind of sacred sensitivity. You feel sorrow more deeply and joy more cleanly. Your body becomes less interested in stimulation, more attuned to stillness. You might start waking up earlier, not out of duty, but out of longing. You desire to meet God before the world wakes up. Your body becomes a participant in your spiritual hunger, not just a shell, but a sanctuary. You are not escaping the body, you are inviting it into the holy process. This transformation of desire is one of the clearest signs that something spiritual is about to collide with your being. It is the Spirit of God preparing your vessel. God does not pour new wine into old wineskins. So He softens, stretches, reshapes you, and He begins with your longings. What you want begins to align with what He wants. Your will begins to harmonize with His. You are no longer pulled in multiple directions. There is a quiet narrowing, and that narrowing is grace. It is your soul's way of preparing to hold more of Him. So don't resist it. Don't mourn the loss of old desires, celebrate the birth of new ones. You are not losing your identity, you are stepping into your truest one. This is not a rejection of joy, it's a reorientation toward lasting joy. Your shifting desires are the prelude to divine visitation. Your soul is sensing what your mind has not yet named. Heaven is drawing near. There is a strange tension that begins to take place in your physical body when something spiritual is approaching. It is not a sickness, yet you feel drained. It is not adrenaline, yet you feel charged. You may wake up feeling heavy, as if you've run miles in your sleep. Your limbs move slower, your eyes carry more weight, your muscles tighten with invisible pressure. And yet, paradoxically, deep beneath that weariness is a vibrating energy, a pulse of something alive, something alert, something divine. Your body is caught between two dimensions. It is weakening in the natural, so it can become available in the spiritual. It is being emptied and stirred simultaneously. This weariness is not without purpose. It is a sacred exhaustion, the kind that strips away distractions. When your body feels too tired for noise, your soul finally hears the whisper. When your strength feels like it's slipping, your spirit becomes more open, more porous, more ready. The electrification that follows is not physical thrill, but spiritual voltage, a power humming quietly through your frame. You may feel your heart race during prayer for no reason. Your hands tremble during stillness. Your spine tingles when you enter a sacred space. These are not emotional reactions. They are spiritual symptoms. The Spirit is beginning to make Himself known in your flesh. You may also find your appetite changing, not just your desires, but your physical hunger. Sometimes you'll feel a sudden need to fast, even if you weren't planning to. Food loses appeal because something deeper is feeding you. Other times you'll be overwhelmed by hunger not for food, but for communion, for prayer, for scripture. Your body starts craving what your spirit craves. It's as if heaven is trying to synchronize every system in you, mind, soul, and flesh, and in that synchrony, your body begins to behave in unexpected ways, restless nights, surges of energy at odd hours, sudden tears, goosebumps during worship, all of it holy signals. You begin to realize that your body is not separate from your spiritual life. It's not just a shell that carries your soul. It's a sacred participant. It kneels when your spirit surrenders. It weeps when your soul softens. It trembles when His presence grows near. You may find yourself instinctively lifting your hands, bowing your head, falling to your knees not out of habit, but because something within you compels it. Your body is responding to the nearness of glory. It is not putting on a performance, it is being overtaken. The electrification you feel is not you stirring yourself up, it's Him awakening something ancient in you. And yet there's a mystery in how this power arrives. Sometimes it comes like a soft fire, a warmth that spreads slowly through your chest. Other times it hits like a jolt, a burst of clarity, conviction, or supernatural strength. But always it humbles you. It reminds you that you are not the source. You are the dwelling, and what is about to dwell in you is not ordinary. It is divine, holy, utterly different. Your flesh feels it before your intellect can name it. You feel yourself preparing for something not out of logic, but out of deep intuition. Heaven is close. Your cells know it. The weakness, too, has a sacred function. God often allows our strength to fade so that He alone can fill us. You may be called to lie down, to rest more, to stop running from task to task, not because you are lazy, but because He wants to speak to you in stillness. The fatigue is sometimes a divine invitation to lay down your striving and let Him carry the next part. And the electricity, that is often the signal that He's already begun, that His Spirit is already filling the places you made empty, that the fire has already come upon the altar, and your body, your tired, pulsing, trembling body, is that altar. Do not fear this mixture of weakness and fire. Do not resist the changes in your body. You are not malfunctioning. You are being retuned. The old rhythms that once defined you, the hustle, the noise, the numbing, are being silenced. And in their place, the Spirit is establishing a new resonance. You are beginning to vibrate with His voice. Your bones are being filled with light. Your hands are being prepared for healing. Your eyes are being made sharp for discernment. Something is being built in you, and before it manifests around you, it must electrify through you. So honor the mystery. Be gentle with your frame. Let the weakness lead you to His strength. Let the surges of spiritual electricity awaken reverence in you. Don't try to explain everything, just remain open. What's coming is not merely for your mind to understand, but for your body to carry. You are not just going to witness the move of God, you are going to embody it. Something spiritual is about to hit your body, and when it does, the world around you will feel the ripple. Let it come. Let it shake you. Let it sanctify even your flesh. There are moments when you wake up one day, and something within you feels different. No one said anything profound. No dramatic event happened. There was no vision, no voice, no thunder in the sky, and yet, deep inside, you know something has shifted. It is as if a curtain has been pulled back within you, revealing a layer of your soul you didn't know existed. You are more alert, more tender, more sensitive, not emotionally, but spiritually. A hidden chamber of your being has been unlocked, and without anyone else noticing, you've been awakened. This is not self-generated. This is not motivation or mood. This is a quiet spiritual activation. Something divine has stirred, and now you cannot go back to sleep. You begin to walk through your day with this subtle but undeniable awareness. People talk, but you hear more than their words. You see beneath conversations, feel deeper currents behind actions. Beauty strikes you differently. Pain hits you more honestly. You become aware of the spiritual temperature in a room, even without trying. What once seemed random now feels purposeful. What used to be noise now sounds like a faint symphony, like heaven is playing a melody underneath the chaos of life. This is not imagination. It is spiritual perception. And it has begun not because of your effort, but because heaven has chosen the hour of your awakening. This awakening makes you question things you once accepted passively. You begin to sense that there is more to the life you've been living, more depth, more meaning, more reality. You look back at your routines and wonder how you managed to live so long in such a shallow current. Now there's a desire for depth that wasn't there before. You crave truth, not convenience. You long for sacredness, not trendiness. And you can't explain to anyone why. They may think you're changing, but you know it's more than that. You are being called, not externally, but from deep within your being, where God whispers through silence.